the 13th of October 2025. This is a brand new edition of Newsfirst's Primetime News. For the Newsfirst team, I am Jayama Ratnayaka.
And I am Hashini Patirano. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Police constable accused of assaulting lawyer granted bail. Police report facts to court on attorney Gunaratna Vaninayaka. Power sector trade unions hold talks with subject minister. Irrigation department takes over property in Katragama with water bills allegedly being addressed to Gotabe's name. President Trump lands in Israel. Special summit on Gaza ceasefire to take place today. In a top story for tonight, Mount Lavinia Magistrate Pasan Amarasekara today ordered to release on bail a police constable who had been in remand custody over allegations of assaulting a lawyer within the court premises. The magistrate also directed that the matter be referred to the mediation board and a report be submitted.
The incident occurred last Friday at the Mount Lavinia court premises, leading to the immediate arrest and remand of the police constable until today. The suspect, identified as police constable Thardo Dilhara, was produced before court again this morning. During the hearing, submissions were made by representatives of the Attorney General's Department, the police, the aggrieved party and the Colombo Bar Association. Deputy Inspector General Julius Senaratna, along with the OIC of the Crimes Division of Mount Lavinia Police, informed the court that statements had been recorded from the driver of the prison bus, a sub-inspector of Mount Lavinia Police and a female constable on duty at the main court entrance. Additionally, statements were obtained from a Buddhist monk and other individuals who voluntarily came forward. Court:
These statements do not reveal any evidence that the suspect assaulted the lawyer. We request an order to obtain the CCTV footage from the court premises for further investigation. This is an offence under section 314 of the Penal Code and can be referred to the mediation board.
End quote. Appearing for the aggrieved lawyer Sanjeeva Anthony, President's counsel Shanika Ranasinghe presented video footage related to the incident, arguing, quote,
"What does this show? I was asked to move the vehicle and then I was verbally abused. It clearly states of an assault. The police claim there was no assault. This is false." End
quote. Police encountered that the footage could have been edited, noting that modern technology allows manipulation of such evidence. Counsel Kamal Silva, appearing for the accused constable, requested bail on suitable grounds. Quote,
"He cannot clash with the powerful legal community. He has only served 6 years in the police and has no prior offences. Granting bail will not cause public unrest."
End quote. Deputy Solicitor General Vasanta Pereira, representing the Attorney General, described the incident as unfortunate. Quote,
"This should not escalate into unnecessary conflict between the legal community and the police. There is no reason to prolong this matter. The AG intervenes as a neutral party. This can be resolved through mediation."
End quote. The magistrate noted that the court's CCTV system was reportedly non-functional, as informed by a previous judge. However, he ordered that if the system is operational, the footage should be sent to the government analyst for review. The suspect was released on two sureties of 100,000 rupees each, and the complaint was referred to the mediation board. The progress report must be submitted to court on the 17th of November. Human rights activists and civil society groups gathered outside the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court today. Protesters displayed placards demanding justice for the police officer, while members of the Police Special Task Force Retired Officers Association also gathered in solidarity.
There is a law that you cannot honk a horn in front of a court. If a lawyer can use abusive language inside court premises, does that mean the law doesn't apply to him? That's what we are asking. This situation escalated because of failed intervention. If this is a matter that should go to the mediation board, then it should have been resolved there. Why was it dragged this far? We are deeply disappointed with the conduct of some lawyers.
A group protested the presence of the secretary of the Jan Aragala Citizens Movement, who arrived at the location of the silent protest.
පොලිස්පතිතුමා විවේචනය කරන්නත් නෙවෙයි. දේශපාලන මත අදහරියට ආදාන කෙනෙක් නෑ. ඔය මුදලට ආපු පුද්ගලයාගේ විතරයි ඒක තියෙන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ මුදලට ආව බැනරයක් කරන්නේ මේ ආණ්ඩුව අනුගමනය යන්නේ ඒක ගමනීමෙන් ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ.
Following the court's decision to grant bail, the police constable was escorted out of the courthouse to cheers and chants from supporters. Sri Lanka police informed the Mount Lavinia Magistrates Court about alleged disruptive and inappropriate behaviour by Attorney-at-Law Gunaratna Vandinayaka within the court premises. Mount Lavinia police told the court that the president of the Colombo Bar Association had obstructed a police constable on duty and engaged in disorderly conduct, and that he was currently absent from his residence and had left the area. Police further stated that despite a notice issued through the Western Province DIG on the 12th, instructing him to appear at the Mount Lavinia Police Headquarters, the suspect had disconnected his phone. The police requested the court to impose a foreign travel ban on Vandinayaka. Appearing on behalf of Vandinayaka, President's counsel Anura Mabdegoda denied the allegations, stating that his client had not absconded and had already informed the police that he would appear to give a statement after discussions with the Bar Association. He described Vandinayaka as a lawyer with 35 years of experience, known for speaking out against injustice, and insisted that the police claims were completely false. Mabdegoda argued that there was no need for a travel ban, as his client was fully prepared to cooperate with the investigation. Police also told the court that Vandinayaka's behaviour had become a major topic on social media, raising serious ethical concerns. However, Magistrate Pasan Amarasekara emphasised that the court had no authority to resolve ethical issues. Attorney-at-Law M. Samara Vikrama, appearing for the aggrieved police constable, said the suspect had used abusive language, bringing disgrace to the legal profession. Representing the Bar Association, President's counsel Upul Kumara Peruma acknowledged that the entire incident was regrettable, warning that such events could erode public trust in the judiciary, the legal community and the police. He urged that the matter be resolved through mediation rather than escalation. The Attorney-at-Law informed the court that the suspect Vandinayaka would be produced and that he would accept the notice. The prosecution, however, requested for an order for the suspect to appear and provide a statement to the police if he were to accept the notice. Magistrate Amarasekara, after considering submissions, noted, quote,
The suspect's counsel has assured the court that he will appear and cooperate with the investigation. The Deputy Solicitor General representing the Attorney General has not requested any further orders.
End quote. The magistrate ordered the police to submit a progress report on the 17th of November.
I believe this matter should go to the mediation board. The magistrate has said all these issues can be referred there, and all parties seem willing to resolve this through mediation.
තීරණයක් අනුව මේක මේව කරන්න අනිත් එක පාර්ශවයන් සියලු දෙනාම මේක සමතයකටපත් කරන්න කැමතියි කියලා තමයි. එනිත් ඒ කනගාටුවක් පළ කිරීමක් සිද්ධ වුණාද? එහෙම කනගාටුවක් පළ කිරීමක් සිද්ධ වුණේ නැහැ. මොකද ඒ පාර්ශවයන් දැන් පාර්ශවයන් අද අධිකරණයේ හිටියේ නැහනේ. නීතිතුමා ආවේ නැත්තේ. නීතිතුමා ඒක එතුමාගෙන් ආන්න ඕනේ මේ ලාල් මහත්මයා.
Meanwhile, Mount Lavinia OIC HTM Tushara has been transferred with immediate effect to the Medical Services Division. Police said the transfer was carried out by the Inspector General of Police with the approval of the National Police Commission. The IGP has instructed the senior DIG in charge of the Western Province to appoint a suitable officer to cover duties at the station.
Newsfirst with the people.
Decisive talks between power sector trade unions and the subject minister commenced early today at the ministry premises. Discussions on the restructuring of the Ceylon Electricity Board saw the participation of several key trade unions today, including the Ceylon Electricity Workers Union, the Accountants Association, the Independent Engineers Union, the Association of Technical Engineers and Officers, and the Human Resource Professionals Union. According to our correspondent, the IT Service Union of the CEB, the Non-Executive Graduate Association, the General Workers Union, the CEB Superintendents Union, All Ireland Consumer Coordination Union, and the CEB Cable Workers Union. A trade union representative who had come for the discussion alleged that he was assaulted. Our correspondent said he was transferred to the National Hospital of Colombo from the ministry premises. However, other trade union representatives claimed that the individual in question, who has been suspended from duties over bribery allegations, had not been invited to the meeting and acted disruptively. They further stated that the man abruptly stood up during the meeting and attempted to charge at the minister while shouting, prompting security personnel to intervene and remove him from the room.
A controversial plot of land along the Manikganga Reserve, where an illegal construction had been carried out, was officially handed over to the Department of Irrigation today. Director General of Irrigation A. Gunasekara confirmed that the handover was executed in accordance with instructions issued by the Attorney General.
The issue first came to light in January 2010 when a newspaper report exposed details of the property and its construction, questioning ownership by publishing water and electricity bills linked to the premises. The construction had been carried out on a plot located between the Katharagama Port Authority Rest House and the Manikganga along Walaraja Place, Tipur Road in Katharagama. The land was part of an irrigation department reserve, and the Criminal Investigation Department launched an inquiry into the matter. Investigations focused on allegations that a state-owned property had been illegally acquired and developed using government resources, including military personnel. The probe also examined the alleged involvement of former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa in the construction. As part of the inquiry, the CID recorded statements from former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Neville Vaniarachi, former security officer to ex-President Mahinda Rajapaksa, and Yoshitha Rajapaksa, son of the former president. Legal proceedings related to the case are still ongoing. Pending the conclusion of those proceedings, the Attorney General instructed that the property and the structure, which had been under CID custody, be handed over to the Irrigation Department. The department confirmed that the takeover was based on the principle that any construction on its land falls under its ownership.
Once the necessary renovations are completed, we plan to use the facility to provide accommodation for senior officials. Additionally, it will serve as lodging for officers from various departments who come to the area on official duties.
Former President Maithripala Sirisena appeared before the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption this morning. He arrived at the Bribery Commission premises to provide a statement regarding fraud that took place at an institution connected to the Sri Lanka Freedom Party 15 years ago.
කැඳවීමක් කරලා තිබුණා මීට අවුරුදු 15කට විතර පෙර ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයේ මූලස්ථානයේ සිදුවෙච්ච මූලස්ථානයට සම්බන්ධ ආයතනයක වංචා දූෂණයක් සම්බන්ධයෙන්. එතකොට ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් පැහැදිලි කර ගැනීමක් තමයි මට එන්න කියලා කරගත්තේ. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා මේ මම මේ පැහැදිලි කිරීම කළා. හොඳයි. බොහොම ස්තුතියි. මොකද ඉතින් දැන් කැඳවීම කරනවා නිතරම අල්ලස් දූෂණ කොමිසම ඔව් ඒක ඉතින් ඒ ගානක් නැහැ. ඉතින් ඔය අපි ඉතින් එන්නේ බෑ. ඉතින් එන්න කිව්වා මේ රටේ නීතියනේ. ඒකේ දෙයක් නැහැ. හොඳයි යනවා අපි. හරි.
ඔබතුමා ඕන වෙලාවක සූදානම් පැමිණෙන්න.
ඔව් ඉතින් අපි ඉතින් කිව්වොත් එන්නේ බෑ ඉතින්. හරි.
Hamas has released all 20 of the living captives it had been holding in the Gaza Strip, with the release of about 2,000 Palestinian prisoners by Israel underway as the two sides carry out the conditions of its recent ceasefire deal.
Cheers broke out in Israel early on Monday as television channels announced that the first lot of 7 captives had been handed over to the International Committee of the Red Cross. The Israeli military later confirmed that 13 more captives taken from Israel on the 7th October 2023 who had been held in Gaza for more than 2 years were also transferred. Meanwhile, preparations for the release of Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails were progressing, with buses seen outside the Ofer military prison in the occupied West Bank, where many of the Palestinian prisoners due to be released were held. A spokesperson for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said the prisoners would be released once Israel received confirmation that all the living captives were on Israeli territory. Families were reunited with their loved ones before the released captives were flown to hospitals for medical treatment. However, Israel does not expect the repatriation of the bodies of the remaining 28 captives to be completed on Monday, despite a 72-hour deadline agreed under the deal. While key questions remain over the future of Gaza and Hamas's role in the territory, the exchange of captives and prisoners has raised hopes for ending the devastating war which has ravaged the enclave, with at least 67,806 people killed and 170,066 wounded in the Palestinian enclave. The ceasefire is also expected to allow for a surge of humanitarian aid into Gaza, where famine has broken out amid Israel's bombardment and blockade of the territory. Many of Gaza's 2.3 million people are reported to be on the brink of starvation.
Now, speaking to the media en route to Israel for the release of hostages from Gaza under the ceasefire deal agreed between Israel and Hamas, US President Donald Trump said the war is over. Now, President Trump went on to say the ceasefire would hold and a board of peace would quickly be set up for Gaza, which he said looked like a demolition site.
Would you ever visit Gaza? What? Would you ever visit Gaza?
I would. Yeah, I would. I'd be proud to. I see it. I mean, I know it so well without visiting, but I do see it. Yeah, I would actually. I'd like to do it. I'd like to put my feet on it at least. But I think it's going to be a great miracle over the coming decades. And you know, if you go too fast, that's not going to be good. You have to go at the right speed. You can't go too fast.
Mr. President,
who are you with?
I'm BBC, Tom Bateman, BBC, with the radio call.
That's excellent.
Thank you. When Steve Witkoff was in Hostages Square last night, he mentioned Prime Minister Netanyahu and the crowd booed. I wondered if you saw that, what you made of that.
I also saw the crowd cheer when he mentioned Trump, like really cheer, and it's an honor. No, as I said, I think Bibi did a great job. I had some words with him a couple of times where I didn't agree, and he was always, he was the right guy at the right time.
But are you confident, because many Palestinians will be concerned that after the hostages are handed over, that Israel might restart the war for some reason? Are you...
I'm not worried about anything. I think we have a great deal, and it's a great deal for everybody. You know, a great deal is a deal where everybody's happy. And every country, they're dancing in the streets. That's a great deal. It's a unique period in time.
President Trump was warmly received in Israel earlier today upon his arrival in the country. He was greeted by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu before delivering an address at the Israeli Knesset, the nation's parliament, marking a key moment in his official visit. Joining Trump on this visit are his Middle East Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, advisor Jared Kushner, and Trump's daughter. The US President received a standing ovation as he arrived to address Israel's parliament. His visit followed the handover of all 20 surviving captives by Hamas under a US-brokered ceasefire agreement. In return, Israel is set to release nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners as part of the deal. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the parliament, followed by Israel's opposition leader, and then President Donald Trump also delivered his remarks to the assembly.
Donald Trump is the greatest friend that the state of Israel has ever had in the White House. No American president has ever done more for Israel. And as I said in Washington, it ain't even close. it's really not a match. Mr. President, today we welcome you here to thank you for your pivotal leadership in putting forward a proposal that got the backing of almost the entire world. A proposal that brings all our hostages home. A proposal that ends the war by achieving all our objectives. Mr. President, you are committed to this peace. I am committed to this peace. And together, Mr. President, we will achieve this peace. We've done it before. We've done it before in the Abraham Accords, and we'll do it again. Mr. President, today the Jewish calendar marks the end of 2 years of war. That war began on October 7th, on the Jewish festival of Simchat Torah. You always tell me, and you tell the world, remember October 7th. Mr. President, we remember. Mr. President, thank you for all you have done for us. I have submitted your nomination to be the first non-Israeli recipient of the Israel Prize, Israel's highest award. As to that other prize, just a question of time, you'll get it. But I want you to get the Israel Prize, our highest award, to our greatest friend. When others were weak, you were strong. When others were fearful, you were bold. When others abandoned us, you stood by our side. On behalf of the government and people of Israel, I thank you for your extraordinary friendship. Thank you for helping bring our hostages home. Thank you for supporting Israel's march to victory. Thank you for paving a path to peace.
For 2 years, we waited for this moment. 2 years of sleepless nights, 2 years without air in our lungs. Our eyes are filled with tears today, our hearts are filled with gratitude, our children are coming home. Mr. President, you have saved the lives of our hostages. But you saved so much more. You have saved the souls of the bereaved whose loved ones now will be brought home for burial. You have saved thousands of soldiers who will now not fall in battle. And you have saved millions from the horrors of war. When you were elected, you declared that you would be the president of peace. You have kept your word. The fact that you were not awarded the Nobel Peace Prize is a grave mistake by the committee. But they will have no choice, Mr. President. They will have to award it to you next year. Our neighbors must understand one more thing about us. We are not going anywhere. The Middle East is our home. We are here to stay. The truth is that the democratic state was attacked by a fanatical terrorist organization. They played with your minds. When you stand with Hamas, you stand with evil. When you stand with Hezbollah, you stand with evil. When you stand with the Iranian regime, you stand with evil. When you stand with Israel, you stand on the side of justice.
After 2 harrowing years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families, and it is glorious. 28 more precious loved ones are coming home at last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time. And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, Today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity. This is not only the end of a war, this is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East. I want to express my gratitude to a man of exceptional courage and patriotism whose partnership did so much to make this momentous day possible. You know who I'm talking about. There's only one. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Baby, please stand up. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change and change very much for the better. Over and over again.
להוציא את חבר הכנסת עודה, להוציא אותו מהאולם, להוציא אותו מיד, החוצה, החוצה.
Please expel this Knesset member. Please expel this Knesset member.
The story of fierce Israeli resolve and triumph since October 7th should be proof to the entire world that those who seek to destroy this nation are doomed to bitter failure. The state of Israel is strong and it will live and thrive forever. And that is why Israel will always remain a vital ally of the United States of America. We have made peace together. And this week, against all odds, we have done the impossible and brought our hostages home. So now we're going to forge a future that is worthy of our heritage. We're going to build a legacy that all the people of this region can be proud of. We are going to have hope, harmony, opportunity, and happiness here in the spiritual and geographic center of the entire world. That's what you are. I love Israel. I'm with you all the way. You will be bigger, better, stronger, and more loving than ever before. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the Middle East. Thank you, everybody. Good luck. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Later, Donald Trump headed to Egypt for the peace summit with world leaders.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD, 10.25% for 15 months, 11% for 24 months. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
The Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, lauded Sri Lanka's remarkable public health milestones, describing the island nation as a model for progress despite its lower middle-income status.
He was speaking at the 78th session of the WHO Regional Committee for Southeast Asia, and Sri Lanka's Minister of Health, Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, was elected as its chairman and will serve in this capacity for a period of 1 year.
The inaugural ceremony of the 78th session of the World Health Organization's Regional Committee for Southeast Asia was held in Colombo. The Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, arrived in Sri Lanka over the weekend to grace the event.
Although Sri Lanka is classified as a lower middle income country, it had the health profile of many high income countries. Almost every woman who gives birth does so with a skilled birth attendant. Almost every child receives routine immunizations. You have defeated malaria, eliminated lymphatic filariasis, and maternal and neonatal tetanus. And Sri Lanka was the first country in Asia to ratify the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, and also the first to fully implement the framework as we go through a process of downsizing and restructuring. Over the past few weeks and months, we have been through a painful process of saying goodbye to a large number of colleagues. These are people who have served the world in many ways, including under extreme pressure during the COVID-19 pandemic, and do not deserve to be treated this way. Nevertheless, I see this crisis as an opportunity, and I'm confident that WHO will emerge sharper, more focused on its core mandate, and more independent. At this year's World Health Assembly, member states sent a very powerful message that a strong and empowered WHO is what they want. First, the approval of the next increase in access contributions was a major step forward towards WHO's financial sustainability and to protecting it from future shocks like this one. And second, the adoption of the WHO Pandemic Agreement was truly historic, demonstrating that in these divided times, countries can still come together and find shared solutions to shared problems. And it shows that multilateralism is alive and well. And that's what brings you together this week.
The three-day session will continue until the 15th of October.
We are strongly committed to strengthening primary health care as the cornerstone of our journey towards universal health coverage. We firmly believe that a robust primary health care system provides the foundation for healthy aging and overall well-being. Sri Lanka is therefore delighted to champion this theme during this conference, reflecting our collective aspiration to build healthier, more resilient communities across the region. Distinguished delegates, let us engage in productive deliberations and foster strong collaboration to steer our region towards achieving our shared goals. May this session further strengthen our unity and bring us closer to realizing the vision of health for all by all.
A booklet jointly compiled by the Ministry of Health and Mass Media and the World Health Organization Country Office for Sri Lanka, sharing the recent success stories of resilience, innovation and progress from the country's health sector, was presented at the event. Dr. Jagat Vikramaratne, the Speaker of Parliament, delivered the keynote address as the chief guest of the event.
We are preparing to launch the National Health and Wellbeing Policy and the National Health Strategic Plan for 2026 to 2035, outlining our commitment for the next decade, not only to improve health outcomes, but also enhance well-being across life course. We place primary health care at the center of our vision. In doing so, we reiterate our commitment to achieving the health-related SDGs. With WHO's leadership and the commitment of our member states, I am confident we can overcome today's challenges and build a healthier, more resilient region for tomorrow.
The regional governing body meeting is expected to adopt resolutions on priority health issues and review progress against resolutions from previous years. The member states of the World Health Organization are expected to adopt a declaration on healthy aging.
Prime Minister Dr. Harmi Amarasuri attended the opening ceremony of the 2025 Global Leaders Meeting on Women held at the China National Convention Center in Beijing.
The Prime Minister's participation at the summit is based on an invitation extended by the Chinese government. Chinese President Xi Jinping and the First Lady extended a warm welcome to the Prime Minister upon her arrival at the convention center. The 2025 Global Leaders Summit on Women officially commenced following the keynote address delivered by President Xi Jinping.
Excellencies, my country holds the honor of having elected the world's first female Prime Minister in 1960. Building on that legacy, Our recently concluded general elections have paved the way for 22 women from diverse social backgrounds, including those from working class and marginalized communities, to take a place in the country's legislature, the largest number of women to be represented in our parliament. Our government now includes 2 women cabinet ministers, myself among them, as well as a woman deputy minister. We have pledged to create the structural and social changes needed to increase women's political participation and to ensure that women are represented in leadership and decision-making at every level across every field. Standing here today, I reflect on the path carved by countless women who dreamed, who fought. It is on their shoulders that I stand as a woman, as a leader, and in solidarity with the hope and determination to carry forward the fight for greater gender equality and equal opportunity for every woman and every girl. The gender divide is widening, with increasing numbers of young men gravitating towards right-wing ideologies, thereby undermining the hard-won gains of women's movements. This backlash is at least partly rooted in the failures of neoliberalism, which has created fertile ground for authoritarian, illiberal, and undemocratic narratives. The Global Government Initiative and other initiatives announced by the Chinese government, and also what His Excellency the President announced today, is a sign of real progressive and liberal thinking, and we in Sri Lanka stand ready to support these initiatives. True progress demands that we leave no one behind. By embracing gender-sensitive policies and budgets, we can unlock the full potential of every citizen and build economies of opportunity for all. No woman is safe until every single woman is safe. Let us stand firm in declaring zero tolerance for gender-based violence, and let us commit to climate action that is not only urgent but also deeply gender-sensitive. Together, we can create a future that is more just, inclusive, and sustainable, a future where equality is not an aspiration but a living reality.
Following the opening ceremony, the Prime Minister also attended the official banquet hosted by the Chinese President at the China National Convention Center.
United National Party Chairman Wajira Abeyewardene says the party's working committee and management committee will meet on Wednesday to discuss the SJB-UNP alliance. The Samagi Jana Balawegya has also formed a committee led by MP Kabir Hashim to discuss the alliance.
අපි බලනවා මේ සති බදාදා අපේ කළමනාකාරීත්ව කමිටුවත් ඒ වගේම කෘත්‍යාධිකාරී මණ්ඩලයත් අපි ක්‍රියා කරන සුබවාදීව දකින්න මේ කටයුත්ත ඉතා හොඳයි කියලා. ඒ මම හිතන්නේ රනිල් බීතිකාවට තියෙන බය එහෙම කලබලයක් වෙන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ.
Is the SJB ready for an alliance with the UNP? This was the response of the party's deputy national organizer.
අපි ඩබල් ඩෙකර් එකක් දාලා නැහනේ. අනේ මහත්තයා ඒක අහන්න ඕනේ තුමගේ. ඔය බස් එකනේ කොට. මේමනේ අපේ
We are forming our alliance with the UNP, not with any other political party. We won't join every party just because we criticize the government, nor does that mean the opposition is necessarily better. We need to understand this and develop an alternative plan. That is where the boost comes in, and that boost will come from the provincial council elections.
What is the current stance of the parties already allied with the SJB? This is MP Mano Ganeshan's response.
The discussion platform between the SJB and UNP is currently being led by Sajid Premadasa. On the other side, Ranil Wickramasinghe is also guiding the UNP discussion of the alliance. This will happen. It must happen. That is the hope of the people. Regarding the right-wing parties, there is a clear mandate and strong public demand for action. There is a voice calling for it, and that is why it will happen. However, there can be no alliance with thieves. You cannot work with thieves, sit with them, or get things done alongside them. There is no problem with the leadership. We are trying to implement it as an alliance. Let's see when an election comes up. However, the highest share of MPs in the alliance at present is from the SJB. Therefore, it is only justifiable that SJB has the leadership. There is no doubt that Ranil is the leader. Anyone among us can be called the leader. He doesn't have a problem because when age is considered, he is anyways the leader.
Will the SLPP join the alliance between the SJB and UNP? This is the response of the General Secretary of SLPP, Sagar Karyawasan.
In reality, the United National Party and the Samagi Jana Balavekya are just two fragments of the same party. Both originally followed the same policies. Leaders who truly believed in a united Sri Lanka were not part of that party. Their focus was on a neoliberal economic model. We can wish this alliance well politically, but we have no intention of joining such a coalition ourselves. If the Samagi Jana Balavekya or the United National Party publicly state they have abandoned their old policies and now agree the people-friendly policies we proposed under the Mahinda Chintanya framework, then we could consider that scenario and evaluate it accordingly.
Sri Lanka police have uncovered another stockpile of live ammunition during special search operations conducted near the Moragahakanda Reservoir Observation Point. This discovery was made during a joint operation by the Police Special Task Force and the Naula Police acting on intelligence reports.
According to police, the latest find includes 860 rounds of T-56 assault rifle ammunition, 4 anti-aircraft rounds, 93 rounds of heavy weapons. This comes on the heels of early operations over the past 2 days, which yielded 1,163 rounds of ammunition in the same area. Authorities have launched continuous investigations to identify those responsible. The School of Mindfulness, also known as Sati Pasala, hosted a corporate awareness program on mindful behavior in Colombo.
The School of Mindfulness, Sati Pasala, initiated by Venerable Uda Iriyagama Dhammajivathera, hosted a corporate awareness program on mindful behavior. The objective of this program is to enhance focus and mental awareness among managers and staff, leading to increased productivity, improved profitability and sustainable growth within organizations. Speaking at the event, President of the School of Mindfulness, Hemantha Ranawaka, emphasized on the importance of mindfulness to the corporate sector.
I am proud to say now we have been implemented mindfulness practice into our national education system. It will be officially implemented year 2026 from grade 1 and grade 6. It will help to co-create an education system that advances mental well-being and justice to the community through the transformative power of mindfulness. Mindfulness can benefit the corporate sector as well to enhancing employee focus, reducing stress and burnout, and improving overall productivity, engagement and decision making. Companies can integrate mindfulness through formal programs, mindful work practice, introducing mindful space and fostering a supportive culture to boost employees' well-being, retention and competitive advantages.
The event featured a distinguished panel of speakers including Venerable Uda Iriyagama Dhammajivathera, the founder of the School of Mindfulness, Reverend Father Andrew Devadasan, Dr. Tara Dimel, Siddharth Wettimuni, Dr. Nalin Jayasuriya, Dr. Kanishka Karunatilaka, Dr. Kaushalya Pereira and Dr. Randula Samrasinghe, who addressed the measurable impact of mindfulness on organizational productivity and profitability as well as on the scientific aspect of mindfulness.
Gammadda handed over its latest door-to-door research reports to the Trincomalee District Secretariat today.
The Gammadda door-to-door research reports were handed over today to the Trincomalee Public Library and the Trincomalee District Secretariat. The event was attended by Trincomalee District Secretary Hemantha Kumara, Additional District Secretary S. Sudhaharan, Administrative Officer of the Trincomalee Municipal Council V. Satyasuni and Librarian of the Trincomalee Public Library M. Irisani. The Gammadda team including V4's National Coordinator Gihanudyoga also participated. Since 2016, Gammadda has released 7 door-to-door research reports compiled in collaboration with the University of Peradeniya based on door-to-door visits to collect data on people's problems and living conditions. Gammadda plans to provide these annual reports to public libraries across the country, giving all Sri Lankans the opportunity to access and study them. For almost 7 hours, Pakistan pounded targets inside Afghanistan along the entire stretch of the border from Arandu in Chitral to Angur Adha in South Waziristan. Now, the fighting ensued after the Afghan Taliban targeted the Pakistan position along the Gavi border belt in Kuram.
The apparent provocation for this cross-border aggression was a drone strike by Pakistan on a militant hideout in which 27 terrorists were killed inside the Pakistani territory. What began in the north soon expanded to the rest of the border as Afghan forces struck several Pakistani posts from Kunar, Nangarhar and Nuristan provinces. Before midnight, both sides had entered fierce clashes and Pakistani forces had begun to conduct decisive artillery and air force strikes to take out the hostile positions along the border, forcing the Taliban fighters to retreat. Besides heavy artillery, PAF jets pounded multiple Afghan posts and militant positions, said sources who closely monitored the hours-long overnight battle. Amid these clashes, there were multiple infiltration attempts soon after midnight when the Taliban tried to infiltrate from South Waziristan. This was, however, foiled. After hours of bombing and gunfire, the situation returned to normalcy around 4 a.m. As Pakistan and Afghanistan traded fire, the authorities immediately closed the Angur Adha border, resulting in a complete suspension of bilateral trade activities. The sudden closure left dozens of trucks stranded on both sides of the border.
The annual meetings of the World Bank and the IMF will get underway in Washington, D.C., bringing together representatives of 191 member countries and thousands of policymakers, journalists and civil society leaders. Sri Lanka will also be a part of the discussions at the annual meetings.
The 2025 annual meetings of the World Bank Group and the International Monetary Fund will take place in person from Monday the 13th October through Saturday the 18th October in the IMF and World Bank Group headquarters in Washington, D.C. The annual meetings of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank Group each year bring together central bankers, ministers of finance and development, private sector executives, civil society representatives and academics to discuss the state of the global economy and issues of international concern such as the growth outlook, financial stability and poverty reduction. The meetings are the only gathering of its kind in the world and a unique forum for discussion on economic policy making.
The 14th match of the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup 2025 between South Africa and Bangladesh is underway in Visakhapatnam, India.
Winning the toss and batting first, Bangladesh scored a total of 232 runs for the loss of 6 wickets at the end of their allotted 50 overs. Chasing a target of 233 runs for victory, South Africa are currently on 197 runs for the loss of 6 wickets. All matches are being broadcast live on TV1, the official local broadcast rights holder for the 2025 ICC Women's Cricket World Cup, and they can also be streamed online via www.sirasatv.lk. And with that, we wrap up tonight's primetime news. Thank you for watching.
And good night.